Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 420th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Happy New Year. My apologies for the delay. What can I say? I'm human. Got things going on, but got a great guest for you today, Alison Maloni. She is a PR expert. We're going to talk about how to get free press, go over her PR strategies. One of them is even how to work for free to get your money's worth. So you're in for a treat with her on her episode as well. If you go to the website, link to a couple of other PR experts I've had you may enjoy after you listen to this. Christine Haas was on way back on number 260, Emmy Award-winning former anchor out of the Austin, Texas area. And my good, crazy friend, TJ Mercer with her Maverick Marketing Peeps. She was way back on episode 177. She's out of Southern California, but moving back to Atlanta. Worked behind the scenes for decades on producing shows, and she knows her stuff. She got me on KTLA here in Southern California last year, and so that was cool. Helped me get some PR so these folks know what they're doing. Christine got me on NBC up in, I don't remember, Bakersfield, I think, a little bit up north. But that was cool as well. So I'll bring on good people. So you're in for a treat with Alison. One thing that I've been busy working on, and it was the whole reason for the delay in getting this episode out, was working on a new program that I haven't done in a long, long time. But if you enroll now, you're going to get almost 4 months of training from me. Then we're going to meet near Austin, Texas in late April 29th and 30th. For 2.5 days. We're going to do dinner the night before. So if you get in on time on the 28th, that's the half day. So, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner included both days. Dinner on the first day as well. But it's going to be going over everything I've taught. You know, I used to do one-day workshops, starting way back in 2007. Then I was hired by Dell for 10 months when they did their sales process transformation. Trained thousands of sales reps on a 2-day workshop. It was teaching them Salesforce when they were deploying that CRM, and we were teaching sales training. So I had a team of 5, and we were part of a bigger team of 25. So then they kept us on for all their new hire training. So that was cool. But so I've been doing things like this for 13 years at least. But it's been a while since I've done a live session, and I realized, with this new year, it's like that's what I like doing. I'm going to Austin anyway for another event on that weekend. My mom lives out there, so it's just all around great reason to say, hey, let's get going again. But if you enroll in January, you're going to save $1,000. Because the price will go up. You'll save $500 because then the price will go up again at the end of February, another $500. So yeah, it's still $1,000 overall from what it's ultimately going to be. You can bring a guest at half price. Okay, so head on over to wesmethod.com. Wesmethod.com. I've got a video there, outline all the FAQs. But join in January. It's 100% money back guarantee. You're going to have full access to the 30-day sales growth program. So all of the live weekly calls we do on Zoom, you can ask all the questions. You're going to get the workbook, the book, all the videos. But with this program, a bonus you get is private monthly calls with me. So not group calls, but you get a private call with me each month to go over things. And like I said, full access to the program. And then 2.5 days live in person with me to figure out how to once and for all, right? Overcome all your toughest sales objections, reach decision makers, set firm appointments, befriend gatekeepers, how to handle voicemails, how to handle stalls and objections and put-offs, and I want to think it overs, how to get your proposals accepted. So just all of that and more. So avail yourself of that. All right, wesmethod.com. Now let's bring on our guest. Alison Maloni, cabin fever, stuck in the home with snow and kids. You know what? I appreciate you. This goes above and beyond. You really don't have to be on the show right now. You know that.
Oh gosh, no, I love it. Like I was telling you earlier, we'll see if 1 or 3 of them pop in during the podcast, because you know how that works. And you say, I just need some quiet time. That's when they're like, Mom, I need this.
All right. Well, I followed you online, so I dressed up for you.
I love
I
it.
got my Christmas jacket on. I may have to get the sweater on, and it's like 40. What is it? Where's my phone? Where's my watch? What is it here? 40. Oh, it's up to 50 degrees. So that's
Oh,
cold for Californians.
I'm so sorry for you. I'll show you the snow later. It's about 25 here.
Oh my gosh. So you're up in Massachusetts. You are a former news reporter, right? Looking at LinkedIn, about 5 years in on TV.
Yes, yes.
And then a good bit of time now. I was looking through 6-7 years with Alison Public Relations, right?
Yes, yep. I've about going on 6 years in February. I've had the business.
Nice. I saw a recent post. I just want to jump right in. Should we work for free? Does it pay to work for free?
Yeah, so sometimes absolutely. And I wrote about it because when you're trying to get your brand out there, you're trying to, whether you get an internship when you get out of school or the military and try and get that experience, or you're full on in your career but you want to advance it. So sometimes you do have to work for free, but that will lead to either business on your end or other opportunities. So by that I mean, you have an opportunity to be in the news as a contributor, or you have an opportunity to write a blog or be a contributing writer. A lot of times you don't get paid for that, but you're getting your name out there, and it's essentially free press because you're able to dictate and tell your own story. And I was doing it for a while. I was going to New York, about a 3-hour commute each way, doing this brand power segment on Newsmax, and I wasn't getting paid for it, but I said this is a huge opportunity because some people actually would pay to do it. And long story short, after doing it for 6 months, I did a good job, and they said, we actually want you to be a contributor. So now I am getting paid to do it, but you have to put the work in, and you have to be willing to work for free sometimes.
How does someone get that initial gig though? Right? Because I mean, you still have to be pretty dang good at what you do, even to get free press, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does somebody, and people always suffer from the imposter syndrome, right? Like, oh, who am I? I'm just a lowly chiropractor. Oh, who am I? I'm just, the lowly computer repair guy. Nobody wants to hear me on the news or read my blog posts.
Sure. Well, they start putting content out there. And that's what, we tell all our clients. And that's what my friend who got me writing told me. Same thing. I was like, nobody cares about PR. It's boring. Like, I don't really have much to say. Well, start writing, start doing those video blogs. And you don't need a $10,000 video shoot to do it. I mean, you've seen, I do it in my car. You can do it at your desk. You just need your iPhone, set up a tripod, and just start putting content out there. And the more you write, for your own blog, the more you put things on Twitter and LinkedIn, the more people will see you, and the more you'll establish yourself as an expert in the industry. So you can pitch yourself once you have a little bit of a brand awareness to the media, even your local media, like that electrician. Well, if there's something going on, in the environment, or something that, folks should be learning or doing with, their power cords, or if you're a plumber and the pipes are going to start freezing because of the winter, those are things that the local news is looking for. They want experts. So just because, you think that you're nobody, the media wants to talk to you because you are an expert in your industry. You just have to put it out there. You have to be willing to take that risk.
So is it the old, if you build it, they will come?
Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely. You just again, we all think that, what we do is maybe boring or nobody cares, but there are folks who care. And the more you put it out there, the more people will see you.
Right. Should we try to foster relationships with reporters and people in the news, or is it too obvious? Oh, I'm just trying to get to know you just so I can become famous.
So yes, you should start establishing relationships with the media, and start local, start small, start in your own hometown, whether it's your business publication or it's your local news, and just start following them on Twitter. That's where they all are. That's the number one place the journalists are. Start just following them, start liking their stories, maybe retweet. So it's kind of like, they're seeing who you are, and just email them and say, hey, my name is Joe, and I'm a local accountant, and wanted to let you know there's a couple of things. If you're ever looking to talk to an accountant, tax time, I can give tips, and give them a couple of talking points that you can talk about. Because reporters are always looking for stories. So it's not, they know that, obviously, they know you're trying to get, they know that you're trying to build that relationship because they want to be on TV or they want you to interview them, and that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, they have to come to the table and bring news stories, and if they already have sources, it's easier for them.
Right. Who's watching this nowadays? I know, like, I don't watch any live TV unless it's sports, and even then, I'll pause it and, you know,
Yeah.
let the plays catch up a little bit so I can zoom through commercials. My wife loves the local news. I hate it, but I guess people are still watching it, right?
They are. A lot, the morning news, a lot of people watch this because it's part of the routine. They don't necessarily watch it. They have it on in the background because they really want to know the weather, what's going on, or traffic. So they have it on in the background. The regular, evening news, no. I mean, I stopped watching it years ago because when I had kids, I didn't want them to hear all the horrible stuff that was
It's
going on.
terrible. Yeah.
Terrible. I personally watch more national news, but I think where a lot of folks are getting their news is online. They're getting it through social media. They're scrolling down Facebook, they're on Twitter, what's going on, and they'll see a news article, they'll share it out, and that's where a lot of the media is going. It's a lot of online news. It's a lot of subscription-based news now. I mean, you see Fox now has Fox Nation, there's Newsmax, there's The Blaze, there's all these media outlets. They're just because you can just pick it up with your phone and quickly look at a story, because I think the older generation is still, sitting there watching the news. But as far as, our generation and the millennials and younger, no, they're getting it all on their phone.
Right. So are they going to be persuaded by the content you put out, like let's say in an interview, or is it merely the fact you can grab that screenshot, have the logo on there, and then it's just more of a social proof that, oh, you must be good. I see you've been on TV, and then that just builds credibility to earn
Yeah,
their business.
you're spot on with that. I mean, I already, a lot of times our clients are on the news and a lot of people are just like, oh, I saw you, or it's really just to build that brand. It's that, so it's funny. I was asking someone, there's this local nutritionist and she's always on the news. Like she's that go-to nutritionist. And somebody had asked me, they're like, oh, do you know any nutritionists? And she actually came to mind. I've never met her before, but because I've seen her on TV, I don't know if she's any good. She may be horrible, but because she's on TV and I associate nutritionists with her, then I'm referring to her. So again, it's just the more you're in there, people are like, oh, well, they must be good. They're on TV or they're in the media or they write for Forbes. So yeah, you're right in that second part there.
Right. So, if somebody, I always use an example of a chiropractor because it's like, a friend of mine, it's in one of my groups, is a chiropractor. But it's not always the most obvious thing to promote. So I kind of use him as an example. Let's say he's got a site, and he's got a good website, but he's not getting tens of thousands of visitors, right? He's not getting a bunch of traffic to a chiropractic site. So should he, and people in that position make content and put it on the more popular site? I mean, put it on LinkedIn, put it on maybe Instagram, right? And can you like geo target to be found in a local region? Because he doesn't need a fan from Miami,
Sure.
right? He needs somebody within 10, 15 miles, 20 miles of his location. So maybe should he focus like on Facebook and put tutorials there?
Yeah. Yep. You're right. So a lot of people are still on social media. LinkedIn is definitely still is really good for businesses, and Facebook's difficult for businesses because their algorithms have changed. Their whole goal for Facebook is to get businesses to buy advertising. So obviously, if you put some money behind that targeted ad, and picks like who he wants to see it, that's the cool thing about targeted ads. You can pick your zip code. If you want men and women, you pick their ages, you pick if they own a home, you pick if they're into health and fitness. So you can really pick who you want to see your ad, which is great. So I think Instagram stories are huge. So for him, yeah, there's a lot of tips. There's a lot of things he can do. Like, again, it's all about, preventative things too. So obviously he wants to be in business and have people come to him, but again, he's that expert. So by him saying, here are some things, how important stretching is, or here are the signs that if you are starting to have back problems, what should you do, what should you not do? So him going out there and putting quick video tips and blogs will be huge for him. So definitely focus on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And then obviously he wants to drive people to the website, but the only way to get people to the website is to be out there on social media.
Should it be like really planned out, like 18 talking points over, 3 weeks, or is like spur of the moment, walk into my car, kind of off the cuff? Is there pros or cons to those?
So both. I think he could do both. I think in his Instagram feed, so that's, like what everybody, sees, not the story. That's more of a planned post, I would say. And then the Instagram story, that's more behind the scenes. That's more, hey, I'm getting out of my car, or, we have this going on, or we've got this free, clinic coming on for anybody who wants to come in from 9 to 12 to get evaluated. Or so the Instagram stories is more kind of like off the cuff, whatever you're going to do for the day. But your actual feed and what you're putting on LinkedIn and Facebook should be more planned out and have more of a strategy. And whether he just says, you know what, every Tuesday, I'm going to do a Tuesday tip. And then every Tuesday he puts out a video. So everyone starts to come to expect that, or, something to go. He doesn't have to do it every day, but something that's consistent.
How are you recommending people uh, cross pollinate? Should there be a talking point? Hey, go to my website. Have a call to action, get my report, build your email list at the same time, or is it? Can you just do brand awareness and people like that fitness woman just top of mind? They're gonna find me when they need me.
So both. I think that the call to action, you need to have a reason. So a lot of people, and what I see is they'll do a webinar and it'll be free and they'll put it out on social media. And then during the webinar, they'll say, okay, click here to sign up for this or for more. So the call to action would be more of if he's having an event or he really, people are going to get something out of it. So go to my website, download this free PDF that gives you the top 5 things you should do to prevent, I know you're in California, but hurting your back when you're shoveling snow. Like out here, that's a big thing right now. So they need to have a reason to go and click and download, and that way he's getting their email, so now he can obviously market to them, but they're getting something from it. So I think it's both. It's mixing in that brand awareness. Just here's some information for you. Here's what you can do to make sure you keep your back safe, or if your back's in trouble, here are some stretching exercises. But then obviously a call to action, so he can then get their email and then can start marketing to them. So it's a mix.
Okay. So going back, an email with reporters, you'd mentioned follow them on Twitter, like and share and whatnot, and then send them an email. Typically it's hard to. You can message people on Twitter, but if they're not following you, they may not see the message. They may be getting just pummeled. Do we just go to the website of the station, find
Most
it?
Yep, most of the stations have their reporters and their email. And then if it doesn't, you can call the station and ask. And then even so, you normally the reporters are pretty vocal about how to contact them. So you can usually find it on LinkedIn. You can find it on Facebook sometimes as well, because they
Right.
want you emailing them because they want to get the story or the tip.
Okay. And is it like flossing? Should we just do it a couple times a day, every day for the rest of our lives? Going to build that up?
You mean reaching out to the reporters?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, once a day. You don't want to be crazy, because if they start seeing somebody retweeting their stories every second of the day, they're going to be like, oh, this is a weird stalker. So just, yeah, I mean, once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, and, you can scroll through. So, for your chiropractor friends, I'm sure there may be a health reporter in your market. So he should follow the health reporter and really start, sharing out their stories. And like, that's who he'd want to connect with, is the health reporter, if he wanted to do a story. And if there's, new studies that come out about the value of going to a chiropractor or preventative medicine or things like that, the health reporter is always looking for stories, because it's difficult to change things up. It's usually the 10 basic health stories you do. So that's who he'd want to connect with. If you are if you're strictly business, you want to reach out to the business reporter. Obviously there's consumer reporters sometimes. So if you have like a consumer type story, you can reach out to them. There's technology reporters. So a lot of the bigger markets have specific beat reporters that cover those areas.
Is there a format or a template you'd recommend, or just keep it short and sweet and don't be too cheesy?
Yep, short and sweet. I was talking to a producer at Fox in DC a couple months ago, and he said if he had to scroll down to continue reading, he's like, I'm out. He said, I just don't have time. So keep it short, sweet. And I find myself doing the same thing with my clients because we have so much to say, but then I write it and then I have to scale it back because, talking like some bullet points, here are a couple of story angles I can talk about, hyperlink your website in there, your social media, so they can find you. If there's a study, if there's a stat, that you can talk about, link that, but super short and to the point. Because think about when we get these long, lengthy emails and, we're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to read it. I'll read it later. And then sometimes you forget.
Right. And then when they do manage to get some coverage, it's a lot tighter and a lot more scripted than people assume, huh?
It is, sometimes they come out and they'll interview you for 10 minutes and then you watch the news and you're on there for 10 seconds and you're
Right.
like, what? And so, what they do is they interview you because they're trying to get all the information to write the story, and they'll usually just pick a 10-15 minute sound bite, and then they're probably interviewing somebody else. So if you're the chiropractor, they're probably going to go and talk to a patient, or they may talk to somebody, who's suffering back pain. So there's always more than you in the story. And sometimes, and it's happened, they'll come and interview you, they'll promote it, and then it won't air because of breaking news, because of technology or something. So that can be frustrating as well. But yes, it's usually just a 10 to 30 second soundbite that you'll get. But again, it's a huge opportunity to promote yourself, and then you can take that. And one of the things we always tell people is, if you're getting interviewed, have somebody who works with you take photos, of you being interviewed, so you can promote it on social media. You tag the reporter, you tag the station, on Twitter, because then most likely they're going to retweet it. So now your post is getting in front of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of their followers. So now you're in front of all of them. So that's huge. It's just, I honestly think the whole pre-promotion and the post-promotion is more valuable than the actual story, because you just get so much, leverage out of it. You can put it on your website. You can add it to your email signature. You can do an email. Hey, did you catch us on, so-and-so station or in this media outlet? Again, it's just getting the word out, and people are gonna be like, oh, wow. All right. That's cool. Like, you were just interviewed. You must know what you're talking about.
Right. And how does it happen when they come to you? Because I've only been in the studio. Is it easier to have them come to you, or is it just depend on the story, the time, and the actual reporter?
Yeah, it depends on the story and the time. If they do come to you, then it's all about your story. So I'll go back to your chiropractor friends. So what they'll want to do is they'll want to get what they call B-roll, which is video of things going on. So they'll interview you, the chiropractor, first, and then they're going to want to get, him in action, working on a patient. If the patient doesn't want to be seen, they won't show the face, they'll just show the back and, arms and legs. They'll want to see staff. So they want to see whatever you're talking about, they want to see. If you're a coffee maker, they're going to want to see you making the coffee. They're going to see it in production. So always think about what can they see and use for video. And if people don't want to be in the video, then, that's something to know ahead of time. But they're always going to want to make sure they have video to cover your interview in the story.
When does someone reach the point that they need someone like you? I mean that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I have startups and I have major companies that have 6 offices. So it really depends, if it's in the budget. A lot of times, what we're doing now is we're going into these small to medium sized businesses that can't afford a monthly retainer to have an agency. So we're coming in and we're teaching them how to do it themselves. So they always have a lot of folks, at least we'll have like, somebody in-house doing marketing or social media. So we can give them the tools. We show them how to write press releases, how to write pitches, how to connect with the media, which is great because I get it. Like, small to medium sized business, you don't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend on an agency. So we're all about just, here you go. And then they'll touch base with us once a month and we'll make sure they're, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if they have questions, but it's great because we give them the tools that they need. So that seems to be like a growing trend now because a lot of people want to keep things in house.
Right. Very cool. So that is a service you offer. That's on your website, I take it.
It is. Yeah. Yep. It's on our website.
And so it's Alison with one L, one S, right?
Yeah.
AlisonMayPR.com.
Yes.
got a super famous dude on the cover. I won't say who. We'll make everybody go visit. And I love his shoes. So I think I'm starting to take dressing tips from these famous people because I'm
Right?
tired of wearing shoes that hurt my feet. I don't know how you women do it. I don't
I guess you get
understand.
used to it, right? But I'm
Uh,
wearing slippers right now, so that's
I,
the
I
great
got
thing
s-
about
I got
Zooming.
slipper flip flops, so it's all good. But I do have a jacket
I
because
love it. I love it.
you brought out the best in me. Um, so are you still on regularly on TV?
So I was filling in for a local news station as the morning anchor for a couple of months for a girl who was on maternity leave. So that just ended. So I get to sleep past 2 in the morning, which is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm doing some fill in for Newsmax out in New York and the business, and we'll see what happens next. But I'm all over the place. But you know what? I'd rather be busy than bored.
Yeah. Amen. Well, I've been following you. I appreciate the tips you put out, and thanks for taking the time to come on the show.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
All right. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. Out of sight is out of mind. It is tough to stake a claim and to enter the conversation going on in the mind of the prospect. It's tougher now than ever, but it can be done. You do need a plan. You need a focus. I'm fired up personally. I've kind of meandered a bit over the last couple of years, really. Been doing some consulting, selling some software. I built up some residual income through Infusionsoft and HubSpot and Entreport and ActiveCampaign and some other things I'm an affiliate of. So it gave me the luxury to chill out a bit. And all of that kind of goes back to as Infusionsoft devolved, right? I mean, and they really started having problems as early as 2013, which led to my getting certified in Entreport and HubSpot in late 2014. But I realized, I had put too many eggs in one basket working, with Infusionsoft. And that was fine while things were up and to the right. But then I realized, and I just gave this advice on an interview I was on, and I tell people, don't build your house on land that you don't own. You see this going on social media a lot. Just literally this week, YouTube demonetized these kids' platforms. I guess the number one earner on YouTube is some, I don't know, like 8-year-old kid, and his parents are like super savvy, but they made like $23 million, I think, last year. And then literally, with a stroke of a pen, YouTube closed it. Now, hopefully, they've kept a little bit of that money, so they'll probably be fine. But I've seen this over the years countless times when Facebook rolled out groups or pages for businesses, well, and groups, but pages. They were literally like drug dealers. The first one's free, then they got you hooked, then you'll pay for the rest. And Facebook does use psychology and things to, buttons and giving you partial images. Curiosity keeps you scrolling and clicking. But they let these businesses get just unprecedented exposure. 70, 80, 90% of their followers would see their stuff. And then within 90 days, it went to single digits because then you were hooked. Then you had to pay money. And people went out of business because they had too many eggs in one basket. So, as I built my business on a platform, selling some software that I didn't own or control, and they changed the commission structure, and then they didn't develop the product fast enough. It forced me to look around, and I've told people many times it felt like a divorce, like we were estranged, right? Still married, but estranged, and it just kind of took the wind out of my sails for longer than it should. But like I said, I still sell their software. It's still the right tool for some people. That's why I have the CRM quiz, so bestcrmforme.com. If you want to take that free quiz and see what tool is right for you. From that, you get a link to my calendar so we can talk about your results. It's all free. So, help people find the right tool. But training, it's what I love to do. and training on software, training on sales. Sales is what I obviously know going back to 1997 when I left the Air Force. I've put food on the table for a family of 9 by selling. So I know a thing or two about it. Okay, so look for more info on this. Once I get this up and running, I'll put another date on the calendar. I'll probably do one either in SoCal in the summer. I may even go to Phoenix or Scottsdale in the summer. People are like, what are you talking about, blah, blah, blah. But the price is right. We're going to Bastrop, Texas in April. So that's a suburb of Austin. When you land at the airport, you just take a right instead of a left. And it's like 20 minutes from there. So you can still get to Austin and party if you want. But the hotel is like $99. Their breakfast is included from the hotel. I'm catering in lunch. We'll go into town for dinner. So it's super affordable. When we go to Scottsdale in the summer, I say when, but I think I'll do it. Why not? I love the Phoenix area. But in the summer, it's super affordable. And we're not there to party. Okay? If you want to party, that's fine. But, we're there to learn and to grow. And so why go to Bali or Fiji or whatever if we can go to Scottsdale when it's hot? So that's the tentative plan. All right, you heard it here first. But, check it out, wesmethod.com. The seating is only, I got to limit it to about 40. My mom is actually checking on this. She knows the manager of the hotel, and I may limit it to even 30 because I want there to be desks, not just chairs. So, I think she said the room can hold 50 or 60, but that's just in rows. So I don't need this to be a huge moneymaker. It's not some $1 million thing for me. Like I said, I'm going to be there anyway. So it's super affordable here in the month of January. The price will go up a little bit in February. It'll go up one more time in March. So the early bird gets the worm. But you also get more training, right? Because when you join, you are in the 30-day sales group program all the way up until the live event. So you get all the content, the live, you get more calls. So join early and grow. All right. wesmethod.com. Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.